Welcome to Wellness Made Easy with Wendy and Kirsten. Hi, I'm Wendy. After I graduated with my master's in wellness management, I started my own company, T2 Coaching, Health, Fitness, and Sport. And I'm Kirsten, an athlete, vegan, life coach, and girl mom, running a business focused on helping others create a life they love. We are here to explore all things wellness to help you become the person you've always wanted to be. So if that's why you're here, open your ears and your mind as we tackle the world of wellness together.
Hey, everybody. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Kirsten. How are you?
I'm amazing because it's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I was originally going to do, because you guys Wendy and I have talked about it a ton. We like to do big, awesome things for our birthday to celebrate ourselves. And all month I had planned that I was going to do a 53-mile bike ride at the gym. And it's actually like 80 degrees out today. So I could ride outside, but I really like to ride at the gym. So I was going to do that after I coached this morning. And when I was getting up this morning after not getting enough sleep, because it was Wednesday to Thursday, and tripping over 5 loads of laundry and having to move dishes out of the way to take my supplements, I was like, I think for my peace of mind, I think I want to do a short workout. So I did 53 minutes instead of 53 miles. And I came home and I'm like, I'm going to make a list of 53 things that I want to get done today. And they were little things. And some of them were things I already did, like clock in on put my time on my timesheet and bike 53 minutes and feed the dogs. But I made a list of 53 things. And then the last few hours, I've just been crossing things off. And I'm making them really simple so I can cross off 53 things today. Like
That's
separate things, like
fantastic.
like loading the washing, like doing a new load of laundry and folding a load of laundry are 2 separate things.
That's great.
I know. So it feels
Anything
good.
you want.
Yeah. And then this afternoon, I'm going to go swim for 53 minutes instead of a 5,300 in the outdoor pool at Lifetime in Boulder, because they have an outdoor pool open all year.
Is it warm?
Yeah, it's heated.
Ours is 61.
Oh my
degrees.
gosh.
But our cold plunge indoors, they turned a hot tub into a cold plunge is
Yeah.
50 to 55. It feels like more closer to 50, but the thermometer says 55. I went in there yesterday and I took my first plunge outside because I usually start cold plunging outside in November. So I went in the cold plunge indoors and then I went outside and I'm like, oh, this feels like bath water. Before I checked the temperature, I thought the temperature was going to read 64, 65. And then I checked the temperature and it read 61. So I'm like, oh, but it felt like bath water compared to 50.
Right. It's all, hey, we always talk about it. It's all relative.
It's all relative. And speaking of challenges, we recently had Halloween and usually we do a 4,000 IM on Halloween, which I didn't do. I know the past couple of years, I'm usually coaching the kids in the morning and I usually kind of incorporate some sort of 4,000 IM-ish workout with them and I get in with them. But this year I actually did 31 hill repeats and my hill that I do a repeat on is about 200 meters long.
Oh
so I
my
did
God.
31 hill repeats on October 31st. I forgot to tell you that.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I've been wearing my Halloween swimsuit all month for Halloween and I've been
Right.
looking at Thanksgiving Day swimsuits.
Did you find any?
I found some cute ones that were all kids on Amazon and I recently started looking on Swim Outlet and then I got distracted. So I will wear my Halloween swimsuit until I pick out a Thanksgiving swimsuit because I already have 2 Christmas swimsuits.
Yeah. On Swim Outlet, they have Thanksgiving caps.
Oh, cute.
Yeah. And they say, I looked at them today because when I was on the bike earlier, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to buy myself a new Christmas swimsuit.
Mm-hmm.
So I went on Swim Outlet and I bought myself a Christmas swimsuit. And then I was looking at the caps and I bought a cap that said, I can't remember. It's like dog. It's for Christmas, but it's like dog. It's a dog celebrating and it says something about like Dogmas or something.
That's cute.
But I did see Thanksgiving ones. Like some of them say like, I'm here for the pie. Like there's a couple of cute Thanksgiving ones. So if you can't find a good suit or if you need, because I decided to buy a cap so I could get free shipping, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So I needed to add something to my suit. And
Nice.
so I ended up getting a swim cap for our Xmas extravaganza.
Love it.
I know. What's your wellness win?
I had a bunch yesterday, and now I just don't know. My 31 repeats. The 31 Halloween day repeats was a successful wellness win for my sport because I did 20 repeats early September on this hill. I usually meet my friend Anna there. And we usually do anywhere between 10 and 15 on Tuesdays. And I said, oh, what if we build up to 20 by the end of the year? Well, I hit the 20 in early September. So then I'm like, oh, it'd be cool to do 30 in October, 40 in November, and 50 in December. So it was October 31st, and I'd gone away 2 weeks in October, which is also a wellness swim. But I was gone, so I'm like, okay, I have October 31st is the best day I can get this in. So I was proud of myself for doing it. It was a great day, and I got it done. I don't think I'll do the 40 and the 50, but I did the 30. Like I told myself I should do 30 in October, and I did it. So that was a wellness win. Set a goal, achieve it, move on, set another goal. That's what it's all about for me. Is achieving one goal is the stepping stone towards your next goal. It's the beginning of the next goal. And so that was a wellness win. And then I don't know. I had some other ones, but right now I can't even.
Well, if something pops, if you remember something, you can shout it out. But I wanted to mention something you just said because you and I do this a lot now where we make a goal. And then if it feels like we don't want to do it anymore, we just change our goal.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say, because I think that's really valuable. And I think that a lot of people don't give themselves that permission to set a goal and then change it because it either isn't working for them anymore. It's not what they want anymore. It's not in alignment with who they are anymore. I think a lot of people, they get fixated on a goal and come hell or high water, they stick with that goal. And so I think it's really valuable what you just did and what I did. I actually just realized I did that this morning too with my birthday goal. Like we decided, you're like, I'm not going to do 40 and 50. And it's no big deal. You're not like tormenting yourself over it, thinking like, well, but I said I was going to do it and it would work me toward my trail racing. And, you could like.
Well, yeah, because that's how I used to be.
Yeah, me too. That's why I want to like shout out to us and let people know, like, you can change your mind at any time.
Yeah.
And even I just thought of that, like, even with jobs, I know people like older people who have had the same job for 100 years and they're like, oh, kids these days, they don't stick with anything for more than a few years. Or I've heard older people say that about like marriages, like they got married, 50 years ago, people got married and they stayed married forever, no matter what, like, even if it's like they're miserable. And like now I think people are really honoring what they want and who they are. And if it's no longer serving them, it's okay to give it up and say no.
Right. Change is good.
So change is good. So that's a wellness win for both of us. And for you guys out there, I want to give you permission to change your mind whenever you want.
And in thinking about your, the 53, there's nothing wrong with saying, it's a birth month. We always talk about celebrating the whole month. There's nothing wrong with doing, 53-mile ride one day, 5,300 meters the next day, swim, and a 5.3-mile run.
Like some other time throughout the month.
Another day,
right?
Because it's your goal, it's your birthday. You can do anything you want.
Right.
And no matter how you arrange or choose to celebrate your birthday with a workout, you're still inspiring others to do the same thing. So when anyone I know who's an athlete who has a birthday, I always say, happy birthday. I hope you do the number of your birth years in an activity. I hope you do something active in the number of your birth years. And some people are like, oh my God, what do you mean? And I'm like, do 53 sit-ups, do a 53-second plank, do a 53-second walk, do whatever act, something in your number of your birth years, whatever that is, active. And I think that just sets the tone of future birth years of someone to do something active. and the number of their birth years. I think it's great because it for people who've never done it before, it's like, oh wow, that's cool, that's fun, that sounds exciting. What am I going to do? And then they think about it year after year after year.
Right. And it keeps you active, which Wendy and I talk about all the time. Like movement is a really important part of our lives. And it doesn't have to be something crazy like I'm going to go run 53 miles, but it could be something as simple as 53 squats or, 5,300 steps.
Yeah, exactly. Mine's changed every year. It's
Yeah.
become more and more varied depending
Right.
on.
Mine too, because I think like when I first started doing it, I was always doing something swim, bike, and run
So was I.
combined that had to do with my birthday years. And if I wanted it to be longer, because I remember one year I did like, it was like my, let's say it was my 45th. It was something in my 40s. I did like 4,500 swim, 45 miles on the bike, and then 4.5 mile run.
That's
So that
exactly
whole
what
thing
I
took
did.
like
Yeah.
5 hours or something.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, 53 minutes is good.
52 minutes is good. I want to get my house clean.
Right. Yeah. And it felt like, and I kept finding little things like I was organizing under my desk and I like pulled up the cord and there was so much dog hair because I never like get those corners. And so like I picked up a pile of dog hair and I was like, oh, I didn't even put that on my list. So I think by the end of the day, it's definitely going to be more than 53, but I didn't add it because I just like the way my list looks.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of wellness wins as well, but I ran a marathon on last weekend and I did not make my time goal. I didn't make either of my time goals. But that's okay because I loved training for it. It was gorgeous. I checked off my Maryland marathon and that was my main goal. That was my like bottom of the barrel goal. And I did that and it was fine. It was a beautiful day. But it was a really small race. So there was only about 200 people running it. There was only 16 women. And I ended up, even with my 4 hours and 1 minute total time, I ended up getting first place for female.
Men too?
No, just females. I was like 6th overall. I know. So I was like, it's funny because we've talked about this before. And I think it's worth mentioning that we talk about like race goals or like life goals and how Wendy and I both kind of do different levels of goals. Like in the ultimate, you know, everything goes perfectly. This was my goal. If things are going good, this is my goal. And if all is just okay, this is my goal. And I think we just talked about last week about enjoying the process and progress over perfection and enjoying the journey. And my goal, I wanted to get under 3 hours and 50 minutes because I wanted to put in for New York Marathon again and Chicago Marathon for next year.
There's a qualifying time for New York?
And Chicago.
Yeah.
And New York.
Oh, and Chicago.
Yeah. So Chicago, though, if you get the qualifying time, you're guaranteed an entry. New York is like Boston because I've qualified for New York before, but I didn't qualify enough.
Right.
Like Boston. So when I looked up New York, it said the average person in my age group needed to be 13 minutes faster than the qualifying time. And I've never even gotten that fast. But if you don't make it through qualification, they enter you into the lottery. And then you can make it through lottery in New York. So I really wanted to get 3 hours and 49 minutes. And I only trained for a month. I trained well for that month, but it was only a month.
You trained for longer than a month. You only specifically for the marathon.
Yes, that's what I meant. Yeah. Well, I was trained for a half Ironman.
Yeah.
Because that race got canceled.
Right.
So when it got canceled a month before, I said, okay, well, I'm going to go do a marathon. So the next week I ran 15 miles, then 20 the next week, then 15 the next week, and then 10 the next week. And that was more than I have run in 2 years. And I felt really good. But when I was doing the race, I was like, okay, my body isn't used to all these miles because I crammed them into a month. And so my first half of the marathon was an 8-minute pace. I felt amazing. It was smooth, 8-minute pace, probably a 6 out of 10 effort. I was like, this is so awesome. And then the next like half of the half, so like 3/4, it turned into like a 9-minute pace at like an 8 out of 10 effort. And then the last 10K was like an 11-minute pace.
10 effort.
At like a 10 out of 10 effort. And my body's like, yeah, this, but the reason I wanted to mention all that is I didn't make my goal, but I loved training for it. And so enjoying the process, enjoying the training, and just having it be part of my life, it made me, so I honestly didn't care that I didn't make my time. Plus, when people are like, how was the marathon? I could be like, oh, I didn't make my time. They're like, oh, did you place? Oh yeah, I won. So it's like, you've said that before too. It's like, you can't really complain if you place really well, even if you didn't make your goal in your time.
Because everyone else would die for the time you did. Right.
And if 5 super fast people showed up that day, then I'd be like, oh, I didn't make my time and I didn't get a good place. But it doesn't even matter because I liked training for it. I hadn't trained for a marathon in 2 years and it was kind of fun.
Yeah.
So I wanted to share, this is my huge wellness win, because I feel like a lot of people, a lot of our listeners, a lot of the people that we work with have the same issues that I had, and I still have a little bit, but I really had a little breakthrough today. So my whole life, I have not loved my body. And when I was younger, I always compared myself to other people my age, and they were always skinnier than me or like look better in jeans. It was just always something. And so I always was reaching for a different body type, I guess, that it's not my body type. And we're all born with a certain body type and we can only do so much with that body type. And so I would look at like runners who are all like really like straight and like long legs. And so they wear the little booty shorts and they look so cute. And I can't wear those because my legs are short, my torso's long. And it was just always something. And so as I got older, I was still comparing myself to younger people and wishing I had those certain characteristics or traits, or even like skin or, legs or anything. So this morning after I worked out, after I did my 53-minute bike ride, I was walking by the mirror and I was like, my first thought wasn't like, ew, this is like, because I've gained a few pounds since the marathon, because that always happens to me. Like I get like bloaty after a long distance something. And usually I would like look and be like, ugh, that's so annoying. Or I need to like eat less today or whatever things go through my mind. And I was like, my first thought was like, I'm 53 years old and I'm really hot for a 53-year-old. Like my body. Like I was like, so now that I'm older and my body's the same as it was, comparing it to people my age, this is the first time I think in my entire life that I felt good about my body.
I love it. That's awesome.
And it's like I was like, oh my God, this is huge for me. And so it just took like 40 years for me to have the same body. But now the women who are 53, like I have I like my body for a 53-year-old body.
That's fantastic. I love it.
I know. That was so huge for me. So I wanted to share that because if any of you guys are struggling with body stuff, because I know so many women that do, I never thought I would feel like, I never thought that would go through my mind. And it did. So if there's hope for me, maybe there's hope for somebody else.
Thanks for sharing. I love it.
So I was like, damn. And so then I'm like I was like flexing, taking some pictures. I was like taking pictures and I was like, I want to take pictures of this because, and I don't know how you were like, because I know you went through some eating disorder, body image stuff as a swimmer. But when I see funny memes about this all the time, about people are like, I wish I looked as good as I did when I hated my body 20 years ago. You know, people are always like, you, when you were 20, you're like, oh, I hate my face, or I hate my body, or I hate this, or I hate this. And then when you see pictures 20 years later, you're like, oh man, I was really cute. Why didn't I just enjoy the way I looked?
Right. Like Don's after pictures. He's done so many like fitness weight loss stuff. He's taken before and after fit pictures. And we always look back at his before pictures and we're like, gosh, if you looked at your before pictures now, you'd be in good shape.
Right.
So his before pictures, all the before pictures we ever took back in the day are better than where he's at now.
Right. Exactly. And so it's like, and it's kind of like what we talked about last episode about enjoying where you're at and enjoy the moment, because I mean, I hear so many people have, you know, saying the same thing you just said.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're like, they look back, and especially as you get older, because even when I see my Facebook memories pop up from like before I had Cora, and she's only 7 years old. So it was 7 years ago. And I'm like, oh my gosh, my face looked so good 7 years ago compared to now. But 7 years ago, I was like, oh, I'm so ugly. My face, I'm, you know, have these blotches. I have wrinkles everywhere. And then 7 years later, I'm like, oh man, my face looked way better then. And then in 10 more years, we're going to be saying the same thing.
Right.
So what can we do to remember that we're perfect where we are right here and now?
Just always have that on your mind.
Save the pictures.
Be present. Just always be very present and very mindful of how you're talking to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And so today I was like, I'm going to take some pictures, because in 10 years, I'm probably going to be like, oh man, I like, and I actually, when I did passion parties, I met people who did the parties where like you take the lingerie pictures, like when people are younger, so they could be like, oh, when I'm older, I can like look back and be like, oh wow, look how, you know, beautiful my body looked. And you got to do that now, because it's not getting any, you know, we're aging. It's all good.
Yeah. It's interesting because I always look at myself. I'm like, God, I think I always look the same, until you look at pictures. You're like, oh, my face really did look a lot younger. Those wrinkles weren't there. The skin damage wasn't there. So that's interesting. I look, and again, I do I've been doing throwbacks every Thursday on Instagram based on the upcoming race. So I did a throwback today, Thursday, about Chattanooga 70.3, because that was an Ironman World Championship, and the Ironman 70.3 World Championship is this weekend. Last week, I did a throwback to the Turkey 70.3 because the Turkey 70.3 was coming up. So whatever race is coming up, I've done it. I have a throwback. And so I've just been looking at a lot of pictures from my past. And I was really chubby.
Dude, that's funny you say that.
I was really chubby in my 20s.
It's funny you say that, because I had a Facebook memory pop up, and I can't remember. I think it was like 15 years ago, and I was doing a run. I was doing a marathon. Oh, it was on my birthday. It was a birthday marathon, and it was the Santa Clarita Marathon. And I want to say it was like maybe 15 years ago. Maybe even, no, I think it was like 15 years ago. I'll relook at it, because I actually saved the pictures from my Facebook memory because I was so chubby.
Yeah.
And I was, and for people who only know us now, they're like, oh, you guys are, you know, whatever. But I remember when I first met you and you won the Ironman that we did together. And I was like, she doesn't, because in my mind,
because I was chubby.
You were, and I wouldn't have said chubby, but I would have definitely said she didn't look like, my vision of the athlete who wins Ironman is what I was striving for. And I still don't look like that. Those are like a professional athlete that's like ripped and like just 1 ounce of body fat. And so when I saw you, I was like, she doesn't look like that.
Well, exactly. So I have this Boulder Peak. We've talked about this on the podcast. On my finished picture, I'm really pronated with my feet. I'm wearing a swimsuit, and I have a white tank top on and a visor And this was 1997. And I remember that year I ran like a low 40 minute 10K after the bike and the swim. I didn't realize how fast I was until now. And I was really chubby. Oh my God, I was pretty chubby. Like I did not look like an elite triathlete that I was based on my appearance. And again, I remember after my first Ironman, I weighed 135 and I jumped up to 155. I had like 6 months off because I had like this chronic fatigue. And that's when I knew I was chubby at 155. But at the Boulder Peak race, I was still hovering 135-ish. But that looked really chubby to me when I look back at those pictures.
Right.
I think it's funny. The other day, I was walking in my chiropractor yesterday with Dawn, and there's a CrossFit place. And I saw this girl with these massive quads that I want. And I'm like, oh my God, her quads are beautiful because they're all massively muscular, like a biker should be, like a biker's muscle should be. So to me, she wasn't a biker, she was a CrossFitter, but she had these beautiful, massive, strong legs. And I have beautiful, skinny, lean legs that are still beautiful, but in a different way.
Right. And if I would see, just because I've always thought my legs were so big, like that's just, when I look at my body, it's super pear. And so like when I look at your body's very like straight. So I'm like, oh, her body is so straight. It's so like, she looks like an athlete. I'm like, I look like a mother, like a childbearing mother. But it's interesting that you're like, oh, those big legs. When I see those big muscular legs, I don't like judge them. I think that's great, but I don't want those. At all.
Beautiful to me. I would love those, but then
I know, and I love the like.
But then I'm like, I like having my lean, strong
runner legs
in a different way because I can run up a hill really fast.
Yeah.
With those big muscular legs, I could bike up a hill really fast. I don't know if I could run up a hill really fast.
Right. So I remember you used to always be like, you didn't like your upper body because you said it was like you wanted it more toned, like toned.
I never had like ripped muscles.
Yeah,
I
and you do
have
now.
Some now. And I never had it. I was always jealous of your stomach because your stomach would never get fat.
Yeah, my stomach, even like after I had Cora, like I have like one little piece of like skin. It's like 1 millimeter of skin. Yeah. But that was it from having a baby.
And I always carry if I gain weight, I can't gain and lose weight around my waist.
Yeah. So basically, for all you guys out there who criticize your body and wish you had other people's parts of other people's bodies, everybody does that. It's completely normal. Here's Wendy and I like jealous of each other's specific body parts. But if I had anything other than what I have right here, my life would be different. And I love my life. And like Wendy said, like those big muscular legs, like, wow, how strong and powerful, but they wouldn't be able to sprint uphill.
Right.
So
they could probably deadlift 300 pounds, but that's right. It's great for them. I can't.
Right. Right. So I mean, gosh, what a journey. Like it's always, and I don't know if like, because we're athletes, it's like exemplified and we are inundated with more like body stuff. But, I think that it's a good lesson to appreciate what you have and what your body does for you day in and day out.
Yeah, have that gratitude. So I never had body issues until my college swim coach, after my freshman year, told me I should lose weight. And
you're like, what?
Right. And I was always in that 135 was my weight, but I carried it all around my waist. So I looked pregnant. People as an adult, when I was a personal trainer, I've had people say, "Are you expecting?" And that's quite an insult. When you're coming from
you don't say that to a girl unless you know.
When I had body image issues, you should call me pregnant. No. But anyways, my college swim coach, and then that summer I had my ovary removed, and so I lost a lot of weight. And so I come back and everyone's like, "Oh, you look great." Okay, if I look great at 125 now, what am I going to look like at 115? So that started the eating disorder, body image issue that I had because of my college swim coach, which also led to my master's thesis. I was going to look at college and high school swim coaches and the prevalence of eating disorders. And then I ended up looking at triathletes and the prevalence of eating disorders. So that actually turned into a positive thing because it formulated the basics of my thesis topic was body image in athletes, and I chose triathletes. But no, my high school swim coach, I mean, being a male, he never, I mean, he would want us to pound food. He just fed us and fed us and fed us and fed us so we didn't have
Right.
energy to train. I mean, we trained like 4 hours a day between morning practice and afternoon practice. And so I was bitter. I was bitter after my freshman year, and I just never enjoyed swimming again because I was too thin as a swimmer. And I found triathlon. And
Right.
so I had this, I lost weight. I found triathlon. I could train twice a day and not get wet. And I just had a hard, I say I had a hard time gaining weight. No, I didn't have a hard time gaining weight. I didn't want to gain weight, so I didn't eat. But it was just an interesting dynamic when I think about those 4 years in college swimming. I never reached my potential because I had no energy and I was too thin. But as a triathlete, as a runner, I was fine.
Right.
So yeah, it's just an interesting dynamic about body types and sports that you can excel in based on your body type.
Right. Well, yeah, because like if I remember how it was when I worked at the Pulse, so it was a long time ago, and somebody was talking about like, oh, you're too, not to me, but they're talking about somebody else. They're like, oh, they're too big, but they didn't like put it in any context. They're just saying like in general, and I'm like, but too big for what? Because they're too skinny to be a sumo wrestler, or like they're too skinny to be like a professional WWE wrestler. It's like there's different body types that excel at different sports.
Right.
I don't know if you remember this. So it was I think it was the USAT, the USAT level 2 certification, because we went to 1 and 2 together at the Olympic Training Center. And one of them, and I think it was the second one, the Olympic shooting team was there. And you know how we all ate at the cafeteria together? So I remember looking over and seeing like a table of like, to me, we were kind of younger, but to me, they looked like middle-aged, out of shape men.
Huh.
And like my first thought is like, oh, they must be just visiting the Olympic Training Center.
Right.
Like I had no idea that they were actually Olympic athletes who had like the eye of a hawk and could like shoot a target at, I don't know how far away it is. But I just remember like I didn't even think like, oh, I wonder what sport they do. I immediately went to, oh, they must be just here on a tour visiting.
Never judge a book by its cover, the theme of our
And
podcast today.
yes, I was thinking when we were doing the podcast, I was like, I wonder what AI is going to come up with as a title, since we're just talking about a hodgepodge of things. So that'll be interesting. But I like the never judge a book by its cover.
Well, and you also said at the beginning, are you ready to wing it today? And I'm like, yeah.
We're totally winging it. Well, because I was thinking also, we always have listener questions or things that our athletes are asking us about that we never get around to. So I was going to ask you that as well. And I had some things I was thinking about all week. I was like, oh my gosh, people are asking me about this and about this, because we had talked about it a couple of weeks ago. It's kind of going into our off season. And so we get a lot of questions from athletes about different things. I was like, oh, we can talk about those. And then I couldn't think of any when we started. But I did want to mention, so it kind of goes along the spoiling yourself, making yourself a priority, honoring yourself. I had an athlete that I coached. She did her final race 2 weeks ago, a 70.3. And originally when she hired me in January, she was like, I want to hire you until my 70.3. And I was like, okay. So I just assumed that afterwards, we talked about this before. A lot of our athletes take breaks, or they're like, oh, could you just give me a general strength training program for the next 3 months, or maybe a swim program or something that they could focus on something specific. And she sent me a message after her race, after we kind of debriefed her race. And she was like, I think I'm going to gift myself to continue coaching with you through the off season. And I loved the way she said that. And I feel like that was also me getting through to her how if there's something that you want to do for yourself, it's not selfish. It's a gift to yourself because you are worthy of it, and to do it. And so I thought that was really neat because I'm like, oh, that just like was a culmination of everything I've taught you over the year.
It's fantastic.
I know. Do you have any things that your athletes have been chatting you up about?
I had one athlete who asked me the question that I answered last week. She says she knows I'm training for a 50 miler, which is in 1 month. And she said, oh, you should talk about how you train for a 50 miler on your podcast. So that was a highlight, and I think just the things about training for an ultra, like a 50 miler, 50K or 100 miler, whatever kind of ultra you're training for. How you train really depends on obviously your past experience, your current time available to train based on your previous training experience. The terrain really impacts how I train for an ultra, and my time available to train and kind of the phase of training I'm in. So like if I did a 50K in February that was fairly low elevation, like only about less than 3,000 feet of elevation gain. So I trained more on flat terrain and I trained a lot more on the road to get faster compared to my 50K that I did November of 2024 that had 10,000 feet of elevation gain and loss. I trained mostly hiking, running downhill. It was just a totally different type of training. And then I did the flatter one. And then I did what I call a moderate one in April, which is a 50K with 7,000 feet of elevation gain, which was probably more my style. It had a lot of climbing, but also not 10,000 feet. It had only 7,500 feet.
Only.
And so, I love hill repeats. I love hills. I mean, I obviously did 31 200-meter hill repeats. I love it. It's my favorite workout. But for now that I'm a month out, I'm still like, I'm not doing that much elevation gain. I'm still doing a lot more running, so I did an 18 miler with 2,500 feet of elevation gain in 3 hours, and it's like 10 minutes versus doing a 10-mile run with 4,000 feet of elevation gain, which would have taken me 3 hours and 10 minutes.
Right.
So there's a big difference in the terrain of how you approach doing an ultra. And so, yeah, I mean, obviously like any training program, it just depends. And so my goal when I'm training for an ultra is as I'm within like 6 to 8 weeks out, I try to target the elevation gain per week. So when I was doing the 10,000 feet of elevation gain, I was targeting 10,000 feet of elevation gain within a week for like 4 weeks. Now that I'm doing 7,500 elevation gain over 50 miles, to me, that doesn't seem like a lot because it's not over a 50K, it's over 50 miles. I'm focusing more on a higher mileage, less on the elevation gain target. I'm still able to easily do 7,500-ish feet of elevation gain within the week, but I'm doing more miles of that comparing to, 50K with 10,000. So, I hit a peak week, which is also a wellness win. I hit a peak week of 75 miles before my 2-week vacation. And then the week after my vacation, I hit 75 miles and I feel amazing. Like I go out and run. And even on the days where I feel like I'm going to be tired and slow, I just start running and I feel light and fresh and fit. So I know right now the training I've done has been spot on because I'm 1 month out and I'm feeling really, really good. And I'm able to hit those mileage targets and I'm not hurt and I don't feel like I'm on the verge of getting hurt. Right. So I'm really proud of myself for the way I've learned to train for ultras because it hasn't been easy. Running has always been really hard for me, especially beginning triathlon. But trying to manage, going from multi-sport where you're training twice a day, multi-sport wise, going from single sport of running and just monitoring the mileage that I can handle. Normally in the past, I could only handle like 50 miles a week and then I'd get injured. But right now, because I'm running more on trails, I'm not running on the road. So a road marathon is not appealing to me, but a trail 50K or 50 miler is. So yeah, that's my training.
How,
based on her question.
I know, no, it's great. And how long, like as compared to, a marathon, half Ironman, typically people in general taper between like 10 days and like 14 or 15 days?
Yeah, I'll do the same thing.
About the same.
So a 50 miler, it, to me, is equivalent to an Ironman.
Okay.
I did my first 50 miler, which is my first ultra, which is really almost the first time I ever ran on a trail, was in 2011. It was 6 weeks after Ironman Lake Placid that we did together.
Yeah.
And I had only run on a trail once. And that was, I broke 12 hours. So it was 11 hour and some change race, 11:45, which an Ironman is a 10 to 12 hour event for me. A 50 miler is a 10 to 12 hour event for me. So my goal for this coming one is I'm going into it like for the first time in my life for an ultra, and I've done plenty. I've even done 100 miles. I'm going into it. I'm going to compete. Like
Yeah.
I'm not going into this to finish. I feel like I'm going into it. I'm going to have a strategy and I'm going in to compete. I would love to break 10 hours. If weather and my nutrition are on, I think I'm capable of breaking 12 hours or 10 hours on this course. Ultimately, 12 hours at the slowest possible time. I should break 12 hours, but so it's an Ironman. So
Right.
yeah, I'll do a 14-day taper.
So
For
what is
50K, I do about a 10-day taper.
Okay. So what is your nutrition? What's different in doing a 50 miler than Ironman? Like what's the difference in nutrition strategy for
My
you?
calories and grams of carbohydrate is higher. So I'm going to be consuming around 100 calories like every 20 minutes to try to get in about 300 calories per hour. Whereas in an Ironman and triathlon, I've usually been getting in about 200 calories per hour. The food is different. Like I will carry my like Bobo bars, strawberry flavored Pop-Tarts and or Larry and Lenny cookies. That'll be on my body. But at the aid stations, which are probably every hour and a half to 2 hours, roughly every 6 to 8 miles, I will consume chips, Coke. They have a spread of candy, quesadillas. Some aid stations will be frying up bacon and eggs and pancakes and all that, like real food.
Right.
They're not going to have gel. I mean, if people want to carry their own
Gatorade.
gels, but they're going to have like an energy drink, whatever. Usually it's Tailwind in an ultra, but they're not going to just have a table full of bars and gels. They're going to have like food.
Real food.
And so, I think the last 350Ks I've done, I think I've done a really good job with my nutrition, trying to maintain, within that 300 calorie per hour range, and then eating more at the aid stations, more
Right.
like of the salty foods, the Coke products, the processed stuff.
Right.
Because honestly, that's how you're going to be successful for me. In the past, I wasn't successful. I would bonk, and like on a 50 miler, the last 12 miles, I'd be like doing 2 miles an hour, and all had to do with I didn't fuel enough.
Right.
And so I've learned a lot about fueling, and that's really how it's different. Like Ironman has special needs bags that you can pick up at the halfway point on the bike and the halfway point of the run. We have or what does Ironman have? We have what's called drop bags. So if you want to have a drop bag somewhere with like shoes or different types
Clean
of
socks.
to change into, you can put your drop bag at whatever is specified on the course for a 50 miler or above distance. And if I had any special food that I wanted in my drop bag, I would put it in there. And I did that at the Georgia Death Race, which was 74 miles. But this race, I'm not going to do it because I know I'm good with aid station food.
And you're carrying some stuff.
And I'm carrying it with me, yeah. And so, I'm going to get a new pack with 2 bottles on my chest.
That's what I have.
Right now I have a hydration pack. And I kind of don't want to be carrying that on my back. I want what you have. So send me the link of what you have because I'm going to go shopping next week.
Ultimate Direction.
Okay.
I think it's called Ultimate Direction.
Yeah, I've seen yours. So that
and it's the size small.
That seems what the ultra runners carry is the two packs.
Yeah, and I like it because I just kind of like when I'm running, I could like squeeze it into my mouth, and then when I want to refill, I have the powder in the back. I could put it in at the aid station with water, shake it up, and put it back.
It's easier to manage at an aid station.
Yeah.
So I'm like really just in the mindset to say I want to go run a 50 miler as hard as I can relative to a 50 miler. I mean,
Right.
obviously I'm not doing 10K pace,
7-minute miles.
but I'm really excited to challenge myself physically and see what I can do.
Yeah. I'm so excited for you. I feel like you said, from all your past experiences and failures, and we talk about this on the podcast all the time, is like, take every single experience and failure and learn from it and grow from it. And then in 5 years, all of a sudden,
Yeah.
it's like, I'm going to go race a 50 miler.
Yeah. You know, that's what I did for my last 2 Ironmans in Florida and Kona, 2021 in Florida and 2022 in Kona. I thought about all the previous 20 Ironmans I'd done, and I could remember from 1997, my first one, what did I learn? And I took all these things that I learned from each Ironman and I wrote it down, and I like kind of said, okay, this is the final one in Kona, was 2022. Let's put everything you've learned in the last 20 years, whatever, and let's make it happen. And so, yeah, I mean, that's how you grow. You got to learn from your experiences, both positive and negative, success and failure, whatever that means to you. If you don't learn from it, then kind of was a waste.
I was just going to say, it kind of seems like a waste if you don't take something from it.
Yeah.
So I love that. Well, did you have any final things to say before you tell me what you're most excited about for the week?
No, I think that's it.
Awesome. Yeah, me too. I think I feel like one of the things I love about our podcast is we are each separately and together relatable people. And I think that's why our businesses thrive, because we have people who can relate to us. And so they want to learn from us and our experiences. And that's why they hire us as coaches and trainers and speakers and ask us a lot of questions, because we're relatable. And I feel like what we talked about today is all things that are very relatable. And I feel like that's really valuable.
Right. And I want to jump on that and say, we are the coach athletes still having experiences to share with the athletes we coach. You know, like, you know, we both rely on the science and the latest and greatest gadgets and technology. We have to keep up on that stuff. But a lot of my coaching is based on experience. Like, I've been there, done that. And this is why you shouldn't do what I did. You know, like, I became a coach to help you avoid the mistakes I made and make it simpler for you. Wellness is made easy. You know, like, it's all about simplicity for me. How can we get the best out of you in the easiest way moving forward?
Right. And that's in all our areas of life. And that's why we called this podcast Wellness Made Easy, because all the things that are important to Wendy and I all kind of culminate in wellness, mental, physical, emotional wellness. And we want to take these things that people complicate and we want to simplify it for you guys so you can live your best life.
Right. Because ever since the internet's been exploding, there's just so much out there. It just all gets really confusing. And then, you know, you make it too complicated, you think too much, and then you just don't get anything right. And it's too complicated.
Yes. So with that, what are you most excited for in this upcoming week, Wendy?
I'm most excited for my sister's coming to town.
Oh, yay.
So I have 2 sisters. One of them lives in Decatur. So she lives, you know, an hour-ish away from me. And then my other sister lives in New Jersey right now. So she's coming to visit, and she'll stay with my mom. And then we have a bunch of stuff planned together. So it'll be fun.
Oh, nice. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
I'm most excited to eat at the buffet tonight.
Nice.
For my birthday. It's the vegan buffet in Boulder.
It's your birthday. That's amazing.
I know that I'm excited about because it's my birthday, but mostly to eat at the buffet tonight. I love the buffet, and it's Thursday night. I'm going with my mom and a couple of my friends.
Yay.
It's my mom and I. We had to switch our date night to tonight because we're the next 3 Thursdays because of Thanksgiving and other things. We're not going to be in the same place. So she was like, I could do it on the 6th. And she goes, oh, you don't have any other plans on your birthday? I'm like, yeah, I have a million plans. I'm working out, I'm swimming, I'm cleaning my house. But she was like, I'd be honored to take you to the buffet for your birthday. I'm like, yes.
That's fantastic.
I know. I'm really excited. So if you guys have any other things you want us to chit chat about, or if you have any comments on anything that we talked about today, we love hearing from you. We love when you share what you like about our podcast, because then we can do more of that.
Yes.
Yes. All right, Wendy, I'll see you next week. Everyone, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for being here.
Happy birthday and make it a great day.
Oh, yay. I will. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Wellness Made Easy with Wendy and Kirsten. If you want to learn more about us or anything we talked about today, check out the links in our show notes. We would love to know what you think of our podcast and what you want more of. So drop us a comment, send us a message, and help us out by leaving us a rating and a review. And don't forget to let us know your wellness win for this week. Thanks for listening. Make it a great day.